persist over
in the Manila Bay and other bays that experience red tides, it is the marginalized that is affected in health and in economy.
The engineering is the ability to absorb, thrive, and then recover. The faster you're able to recover, the more resilient.
Sa Pilipino, ito ay katibayan at katatagan sa mahirap na sitwasyon at ang kakayahang bumangon muli.
Yung ecological naman, the ability to adapt. Yung evolutionary resilience, Vale, to really innovate and be creative.
Resilience is really being able to spring back from adversity, but it should have learning, and therefore it strengthens you to be more resilient than before the adversity came to you.
Before COVID-19, the Philippines was already on to SMT-based measures to improve its resilience capacity. With COVID, the country was awakened to the need for resilience of our economic, health, and educational status as well.
The country as a whole is, I think, not so resilient because while we have the capabilities, the opportunities, and the resources to cope with COVID-19, the whole body is suffering because the leadership and management is not working so well. When it comes to individual resilience, those who have more resources, capabilities, and opportunities will be more resilient than those who are not.
A lot of the problems really may be interconnected, Vale. You have to look at it from a holistic point of view. It encompasses more than natural sciences or physical problem, Vale, but also it gets into the ecological, biological, as well as social pa nga.
Among issues and problems we have are poverty, ecosystem destruction, climate change, and variability.
Much of our attention is placed only after the disasters happen. What we should do really is to take early action years before the hazard strikes, and we should put our attention and our resources into that type of planning.
We need SMT-based transdisciplinary and inclusive approach to coping with possible hazards.
The fragmentation of society needs to be resolved for resilience.
Communication is very, very important, and we should communicate to the people using not just scientific communication means, but through arts, music, understand the mindset of the Filipino people so we can communicate better.
Well, the way to move forward is interoperability.
So we have to do a lot of work as a person, as a community, and as an institution to really have resilience as one of the values of the Filipinos. Yung tunay na resilience na towards improvement.
Building resilience requires sustainability science inspired by transdisciplinary approach.
To be sustainable, you have to be resilient. To be resilient, you have to be sustainable.
Go natural, go with nature's flow. Non-structural or natural interventions, as well as good planning, is the most sustainable.
Finally, we need to harness and strengthen the Filipino spirit of bayanihan.
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat at malugod na pagbati mula sa Future Earth Philippines. Welcome po sa ika-126 episode ng the Filipino SDG Action Hour at muli nyo kaming samahan sa isa't kalahating oras ng hitik na impormasyon at mga bagong kaalaman. So ngayong hapon po, pag-usapan po natin ang topic na pinamagatang The Power of Science Communication in Unlocking the SDGs. So ano nga po bang kapangyarihan at kalakasang taglay ng science na pangkomunikasyon upang mabuksan po natin ang wonders ng SDGs? So our speaker for today is a seasoned science communicator and community development advocate with over 2 decades of experience. Currently a project associate at International Service for the Acquisition of Agri-Biotech Applications, or ISAAA Incorporated. She plays multiple roles including science writer, blogger, social media manager, and publications designer. She has authored hundreds of articles for biotech updates, ISA's newsletter with over 23,000 subscribers in 150 countries, and contributes to their blog Science Speaks. So her science communication efforts focus on accessibility and cultural relevance, promoting public understanding of science, sustainability, and technology. She also has a journalism degree from the University of the Philippines in Los Baños and studied English at the Asian Institute for Distance Learning. She is recognized for pioneering the use of illustrated booklets and infographics in ISAA's campaign on biotechnology, climate change, and women in science. So her efforts earned her the Jose G. Burgos Jr. Award for Biotechnology Journalism in 2015. And in 2022, she became a certified digital journalist through the Reuters Digital Journalism Foundation course sponsored by Meta. So beyond her professional roles, she is pursuing a law degree and maintains a blog, Rants of the Archer, where she writes about calligraphy and stationery. So her work continues to bridge science and society through creative and inclusive communication strategies. So ngayong hapon po, let's all welcome isang alagad ng siyensya at isang fountain pen enthusiast na tulad ko, Clement Jonglay.
Yes. Good afternoon po. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. I am happy to be here with all of you this afternoon. This is an entirely new venue for me to talk about science communication because we all accept na communication is a very essential part of many issues, global issues, local issues that are very challenging to us at the moment. Complex global issues such as climate change, population growth, the pandemic, of course, food security and sustainability. All of these require clear, consistent, and trustworthy communication so that we could foster understanding and motivate action. And we have to also accept that right now we are faced with so much misinformation coming from different values or maybe also from lack of trust in different institutions. So this afternoon, my slides, please. I am going to talk about science communication and how it could help in unlocking the SDGs. So next slide, please. My presentation would okay, so it would be about a basic definition of what is SciComm and why it is important and how it could help in unlocking the SDGs, and a very brief touch on how to be a good science communicator and several takeaways. So next slide, please. We are talking of science communication. So maybe most of you are thinking, ano ba talaga ang science communication? How is it different from regular, popular, everyday communication? It's not really that far. It's just that it uses a certain method that is also based on the scientific method. So science communication is the practice of conveying scientific information, knowledge, and various concepts to different audience using clear, accurate, and engaging methods or manner. It also involves translating complex scientific ideas into accessible language and formats that could be understandable to non-experts or to our lay people that we call non-experts. Next slide, please. Science communication, or what we call SciComm, it aims to inform, engage, and inspire the public about science by making this complex information understandable and relevant to everyday life. So, paano ba importante ang science sa pang-araw-araw nating buhay? Lalo na yung hindi naman very particular about scientific information. So, next slide, please. Why is science communication important? Bakit nga ba talaga siya important? Lalo ngayon na we are faced with so many global issues. Ang isa sa pinakamalaking issue natin in the previous 3 years was the pandemic, and of course it affected a lot of factors in our everyday lives, especially food, health, and a lot of people were affected. So why is it important? SciComm, next slide, please. SciComm helps bridge the knowledge gap. So it translates complex scientific concepts into clear and accessible language. And this makes it easier for non-experts to understand and engage with scientific information. In our experience with the pandemic, we kept talking about the virus, we kept talking about vaccines, we kept talking about mga schedules, ganyan. Previously, not everyone understood these concepts, but because it was put in our doorsteps, maraming tao ngayon ang nakaintindi ng ano ba talaga yung vaccine. Although, syempre, we accept maraming hindi rin nakaintindi. But, it became very near to us. It became very personal to us. SciComm also promotes scientific literacy because it helps disseminate accurate, fact-based, science-based, and evidence-based information. So it also promotes critical thinking skills and empowers individuals to make informed decisions based on this evidence. Kasi nga, when we have knowledge, di ba sabi, knowledge is power. When we have knowledge, when we understand things around us, it empowers us. Hindi tayo ignorant, hindi tayo mangmang dun sa bagay na yon. And most people will be empowered when they understand and learn about most of these things. SciComm also enhances public understanding of science, which is very important. It helps the public grasp the relevance and impact of scientific advancements. I will cite an example later. It also helps enabling informed discussions and participations in policy decisions, which again is important because policies and policy decisions affect most of us, all of us actually. SciComm also helps build trust and credibility, which is again another important facet of communication because SciComm promotes transparency and shares we impart how rigorous the scientific method is, and we also help address uncertainties and foster trust in scientific institutions and knowledge because sometimes people, our everyday people outside, they do not, I encounter a lot of people when they ask questions and I would answer like medyo science ang approach. They will just tell me to just stop kasi ayaw na nilang marinig dahil hindi daw nila naiintindihan. Okay, so SciComm also helps inspire the next generation kasi nga, it inspires curiosity, it ignites interest, and encourages young individuals to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And lastly, SciComm helps address misinformation and skepticism na alam naman natin, usong-uso ngayon in all facets of our life, in all aspects of in our country. politics, science, ganyan, ang dami talagang misinformation. So SciComm helps counter misinformation because it helps clarify misconceptions. It promotes evidence-based knowledge and contributes to a more informed and scientifically literate society. So next slide, please. A study published in Nature Human Behavior, they looked at the trust in scientists and their roles in society across 68 countries, including the Philippines. So doon po sa study na find out nila that scientists are most trusted in society across all 68 countries. We also had a previous study sa ISA of this na number 1 talaga palagi ang scientists, regardless of gender. Sila yung top na pinagkakatiwalaan ng una, farmers, pangalawa ng mga students, and third ng mga consumers. So in this study, rating from 1 as the lowest, 5 as the highest, ang rating sa atin sa Pilipinas ay 3.9. So mataas na mataas talaga yung trust sa mga scientists, and they are highly credible than others. Ang others ay politicians, celebrities, which could include actors, and religious leaders. Kasi in other cultures, ang taas ng trust sa religious leaders. Pero dito sa 68 countries na to, mataas yung trust sa mga scientists. And ang hope nila doon, ang recommendation nila, ito pong last sa bullets, they should engage more. They hope that scientists should engage more in society and policy making. Dahil nga mataas yung trust nila, they want these people, the scientists, to be more engaged in society and in making policies that would affect a large group of people in society. The link is at the bottom of this slide. Next slide, please. Another example why science is very important in our lives right now. During the COVID-19 pandemic, another study published in PLOS One looked at the role of science during the pandemic. So they looked the group that conducted the study. They looked at the speeches of major political leaders during the COVID-19 pandemic. So ang ginamit nilang leaders ay ang top 3: the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the President of Italy, and the President of the European Union. So political leaders at the time viewed science as an indicator of national pride and international standing, which is very understandable because at that time, palaging sasabihin, ang status ng vaccination in this country or ganito na karami yung nabili namin na vaccine. So all of these are based on science. And they saw science as an agent of social growth and a driving force of integration and collaboration between knowledge production and the industry. So itong tatlong political leaders na to, they used science in their speeches during the pandemic, and they looked at it and ang taas ng usage nila ng science. So that's how important science is at the time, kasi nga they are political leaders and yet they used science in informing their citizens about progress during the pandemic. Okay, so next slide, please. Having said all of that, you might be asking, how is SciComm related, or how is it important in the goal of achieving the SDGs? Is it really important? Yes. Oh, yes. Because SciComm plays a pivotal and multifaceted role in the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals by bridging the huge gap between scientific knowledge and actionable, practical, and sustainable solutions. Next slide, please. So the first is SciComm helps in informing policy and decision making. So first is the creation of evidence-based policy. So SciComm ensures that policy and decision making are informed by the best available scientific evidence. Effective communication bridges the gap between scientific research and its practical applications and enables policymakers to develop evidence-based strategies in promoting public awareness and fostering collaboration among stakeholders. In the creation of evidence-based ensures that policymakers have access to accurate, timely, and relevant scientific information. And this is important because it allows for the development of, again, evidence-based policies and interventions that are crucial for addressing complex and urgent challenges, global challenges, such as climate change, poverty, food security, and health. SciComm also helps bridge the huge science policy gap as it facilitates dialogue and understanding between scientists, among scientists, and between scientists, policymakers, and other stakeholders to ensure that research findings are translated into practical and actionable solutions that could be integrated into national and international agendas. This is very important because multifaceted and multidisciplinary kasi ang approach into achieving the sustainable development goals. So next slide, please. In raising public awareness and fostering engagement, SciComm contributes by translating complex scientific findings related to the SDGs into easily understandable language and formats for diverse audiences. These findings are important to global challenges such as climate change, poverty, and nutrition and health crisis. As an example, in my work, like every week, we release and publish the crop biotech updates. And we also write blog articles that go with the newsletter. One of my favorite topics is climate change because I think it's very encompassing across many countries, across many cultures. Of course, climate change, so temperature ranging from this to that. Even myself, I find it a little bit daunting to understand. So I would try to simplify it so that our readers would be able to grasp the concept because climate change. So SciComm obviously SciComm helps in it could enhance public understanding. Individuals and communities in making informed decisions about their lives and enables them to also contribute to sustainable practices. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry. I have to talk about this. SciComm promotes behavioral change. I did not want to include this here because this is a rather contentious issue, but to me it's important. That's why I included this here because the question that we always ask when we talk about behavioral change, how do you measure it? And I think science and SciComm could contribute to behavioral change as it motivates individuals and communities, hindi lang individuals, also includes communities, in adopting more sustainable behaviors, whether it's reducing plastic waste, conserving water, or supporting eco-friendly initiatives. SciComm contributes a lot kasi nga it helps inform people, so it could promote behavioral change and mobilize public support. When the public understands the urgency and importance of the SDGs, of course, they are more likely to support policies, advocate for change, and participate in the efforts in attaining the Sustainable Development Goals. Next slide, please. Okay, so fostering collaboration and innovation. This is important because, syempre, when you are able to understand the issues, the concerns, you can meet people with similar and same causes, and you can have collaboration. You can work together as individuals and even as a community. So it could promote community engagement because individuals and communities, when they engage with each other through dialogues and collaborations, they would be able to address local sustainability challenges and facilitate dialogues, again, between and among scientists, policymakers, and yung most important, communities, to encourage them to join collaborative efforts and address the local sustainability challenges. And SciComm also helps individuals and communities identify. So yun nga, maka-identify sila ng concerns and causes, they would be able to address these causes and concerns in specific ways that are unique to their group. Because syempre, hindi naman one community, two communities, three communities, hindi uniform yung pwede nilang ways na ma-adopt, di ba? Each community has unique people, each community will have unique approaches to deal with concerns. And now, we all understand that the SDGs require a multidisciplinary approach. So SciComm helps promote interdisciplinary collaboration by facilitating collaboration among people and experts from various fields, local government units, this is very important, and the private sector. Because sometimes groups do not include the LGUs, and hindi nagiging effective because syempre when we have mga ganitong movements, we have to include the LGUs. So una, we can get their support. At the same time, yung validity ng ating activity. Next slide, please. Lastly, SciComm helps in fostering collaboration and innovation. It helps leverage innovation by highlighting scientific and technological innovations that offer solutions for sustainable development, such as yung renewable energy technologies, clean water solutions, and sustainable agricultural practices. It also helps create global partnerships, which is important kasi this is more for syempre resources and also sharing experts and knowledge. And global and international partnerships could help establish trust among stakeholders, strengthen international partnerships and sharing of knowledge and best practices across borders that would support global efforts to achieve the SDGs. Next slide, please. SciComm also promotes equity and inclusivity. Promoting equity and inclusivity is, of course, a crucial factor for the success of the SDGs because it ensures that no one is left behind in the pursuit of a better future. Syempre, ayaw natin may maiiwan. And equity and inclusivity address the root causes of inequality, and it could promote social justice and contribute to sustainable and lasting development. They are not separate goals, but rather foundational principles that underpin all the aspects of the SDGs. So science communication promotes equity and inclusivity by amplifying marginalized voices. SciComm ensures that the concerns and the perspectives of vulnerable and marginalized communities who are often most affected by sustainable development challenges are heard and considered in decision-making processes. This is very important kasi yun nga, para we all know that we are all in this effort. No one is left behind. And lastly, yung misinformation. As I mentioned earlier, malaki yung tulong ng SciComm sa addressing and countering misinformation, which is very rampant nowadays. So we are in a place and time where there is rampant misinformation and disinformation. So robust science communication is important in fighting all of these false narratives and in building trust in scientific data and evidence, especially when it concerns sensitive issues such as health and environmental policy. So ngayon kasi ang dami-daming maling information na nakikita natin, especially with social media, and SciComm helps a lot in countering all of this misinformation. Okay, so now that I have discussed that, many of you might be asking, how could I be a science communicator? So meron lang akong brief description of that. Next slide, please. Next slide again. Okay, so this is a long list, but actually very brief lang naman yung descriptions, and most of them are similar with each other. So know your audience, just like regular popular communication. Kasi science communicators, science communicators, we need to identify our target audience so that we will be able to create specific messages for them. And we will also be able to find them in the right platforms. Especially now, ang audience ko ba about, for example, climate change, where are they? Nasa tri-media pa ba sila or nasa quad media? Are they in digital media or nandun ba sila sa traditional media, meaning TV, radio, and print? So yung identifying all of this is very important in tailoring the messages that we would give to them so that it would be effective. So explain and inspire. Ano ba to? During the COVID-19 pandemic, there was a general thirst for scientific explanations. Ang dami kasi nating hindi alam. Marami tayong fear kasi hindi natin naintindihan. So, syempre, kapag wala tayong knowledge, nandyan yung fear, nandyan yung distrust. So, during this time, communication was very challenging, especially in explaining the issue, bakit siya nangyari, ang dami-daming sumusulpot na mga urban legends and theories about how it really happened. And yun, as science communicators, it's our task to facilitate discussions, to inspire people na ma-explain ng maayos yung issues at hand. And as scientists and science communicators, be yourself. We spend a great deal of time debunking myths and fighting misinformation with facts. For facts to be understood and accepted, we have to gain the public trust. So we have to be ourselves. As scientists or as experts, we have to be ourselves. We have to set goals and objectives to establish trust, and foremost, we also have to respect other stakeholders who are with us in this conversation. And we also have to build our expertise. Effective SciComm means either transparently sharing information along with its uncertainties or providing thorough data-backed explanation. So we have to weigh, kailangan timbangin natin, ano bang sasabihin ko, na matatakot ba sila? Matutuwa ba sila? So we have to build yung ano ba yung expertise natin so that we will be able to explain it better. So while challenging, yung mga SciComm issues ngayon, they demand that communicators would understand the why behind the science and not just the what. That's why in my earlier slide, meron ako dong sobrang laking why. Because in communication, when you are going to start on something, we always ask ourselves why, not what, not who, not how, but we always start with a good why. And a good science communicator must be able to amplify others. So we should find a SciComm approach where individuals and maybe communities would be able to understand when their own voice is more impactful, and we should also be able to elevate others to foster better connection and understanding within specific communities. So we should work together with others and amplify them. Next is choose social. Yan, dito na tayo ngayon. Choose social. Kasi nga, di ba, social media has revolutionized a lot our lives, education, trade, marketing, health, di ba? It has affected a lot. And that includes SciComm. Social media made science communication more informal but accessible. And now, social media has become an essential tool for communicators in reaching diverse audiences. So, ang trick dito, you have, again, kagaya nung sa knowing your audience, choose the right platform based on your target audience, because this is very crucial in maximizing reach and impact. Kaya ngayon palaging kapag social ang pinag-uusapan, anong reach mo? Ilan ang impressions mo? We always see that sa Facebook or sa Instagram na pinagmamalaki, naka 1 million na ako, 1 million reach, 1 million views. Yan. So, ang question ay, anong quality ng impact mo, di ba? Hindi lang views. Kailangan meron kang maiiwan na information sa kanila. And now that we are on social, we should not feed the trolls, di ba? Kasi nga, ang dami-daming trolls, ang dami-daming mga, ano bang tawag ko? Basta trolls. So, while social media offers SciComm an unparalleled reach, talagang di natin ma-measure, no? It's also a double-edged sword. Kasi nga, kapag nasa social media ka, you are exposed to harassment, attacks, and we have very little protection. So, ang advice namin kapag may nagtatanong, anong gagawin ko? Well, we have to maintain professionalism amidst the noise. We have to maintain our neutral ground, or if really needed, we should be very positive about it, because itong natutunan ko sa years of practicing communication using social media, when people react dun sa issue, it's not personal. They are really reacting to the issue. Very, very rare or very uncommon naman na we are talking about scientific information na magiging personal. Usually yung mga personal attacks sa mga celebrities, sa mga artista. So, yun yung natutunan namin na, because earlier on, kapag may negative na comment, talagang na-hurt kami. But later on, we realized, hindi pala kami personally yung inaatake, but the issue. So now that galing tayo social media, we should also use old media, like yung traditional media na tinatawag, television, radio, newspapers, because they still have a very broad reach. Maraming nararating ang radyo na hindi nararating ng social media dahil walang internet. Maraming lugar ang nararating pa din ng television kasi nga wala pa ring internet doon, and they prefer yung television and radio. So, kasi if we will concentrate on a single platform, there are limitations, and experts advocate for, again, diverse approaches, including multilingual and print formats. That's why marami pa rin ngayong mga materials are being translated. Kahit we already have social media, we will always see the feature na translation, because language is also important. And traditional media break through social media echo chambers and reach a wider, less scientifically familiar audience. Sorry, ito paling sinasabi ko kanina. Yung nararating usually ng radyo, ng TV, usually hindi sila nararating ng social media. So, medyo may limitation pa rin sa nare-reach na issues and topics nila. So, they are less familiar with science. They are less familiar with complex issues like, again, climate change, nutrition, health, mga ganyan, food security. Okay, so after that, we have to learn to listen. Dalawang listening to. Listen to our audience and listen to the platform. Listening to our audiences, it helps us learn about their concerns and use these concerns in tailoring our messages for them. Listening to the platform naman, we would be able to find insights on how to craft messages, where to find more people, more audiences that we could add into our growing following or followers. We should also be very careful about cultural barriers because this would help us foster trust, build trust, and foster engagement later on. Do not take sides. Avoid politics. Never compromise your position by taking political sides. So, yeah, do not take sides. And stick to what you know. A good science communicator should not stray from their own expertise. So, science communicators or scientists who veer out of their areas of expertise can easily create confusion and mistrust. Kasi nga parang scientist ka, you should stick to what you know. And kasi when we create confusion and mistrust, baka this could be amplified towards other people, other scientists, other stakeholders. And lastly, stay on the topic. To effectively communicate science and prevent audience overwhelm, this is a new technical term na ini-introduce nila, audience overwhelm. Experts advise getting straight to the point and focusing on a single major concept. Because right now, ang small na ng attention span ng mga tao. If you have read mga literature recently, our attention span is shorter than that of a fish. Very, very short na lang. Ilang milliseconds or seconds na lang. Ilang seconds na lang. So, focusing on a single major concept would help people, our audiences, focus on that and let them decide on seeking further details about that major concept. So, yun nga, our goal is to simplify complex ideas to the extent that even a child can grasp and be inspired by them. So, ang idea is to really stay on one major concept. And lastly, I prepared several key takeaways. Please, next slide, please. SciComm has a crucial role in achieving the SDGs by bridging scientific knowledge and the public, the policymakers, and the industries, because they play a role in this conversation. It moves beyond simply disseminating facts. Hindi lang tayo taga-release ng facts. In crafting compelling messages that would inspire action and drive meaningful change or develop further conversations that would create more positive action. And lastly, SciComm fosters awareness, informs decision-making, and it helps motivate action towards sustainable practices across various sectors by translating complex research into accessible information and promoting evidence-based practices that would help promote whole human well-being, social progress, and build our nation. So with that, I want to say thank you very much. If you have questions and inquiries, please reach out to me. My email is in the next slide. Yan. Maraming salamat po, and I hope you learned a thing or two this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Nako, Clement, madami kaming natutunan sa iyo ngayong hapon. At alam ko na ikaw ay may hahabuli pang klase before 5 o'clock, so we need to cut short our session in probably around 4:30. So ngayon po, tayo po ay mag-proceed na po sa ating mga questions sa ating Q&A box. So from L. Bayrante, question for Ms. Jonglai. How do you address scientific jargon in SciComm to ensure effective communication to non-experts? Nakamute po kayo?
Yes, okay. Sige, thank you for your question. Ito ay palaging tinatanong sa amin. Can I give an example? Okay, so I work for ISA. We deal with agbiotech, ganyan. In my work, palaging na-mention yung ganito. May several crops tayo dito sa Philippines. Ang isa doon ay BT eggplant. In our effort to simplify BT eggplant and make farmers understand them, tinranslate namin ang material. Yung pinag-present namin about BT eggplant, sinabihan namin, ma'am, pakisimplify po kasi farmers ang ating audiences. So yung, meron kasing term na toxin, pero dapat protein yun. Tinranslate niya na lason. So ayan, yung question, uncertainties and ambiguities in scientific studies. How do you treat and communicate this in SciComm? So sometimes we don't have to translate. Dahil mas, alam mo yung lost in translation, di ba? But yung uncertainties and ambiguities, paano ba to? Kami kasi, para kaming Philippine Daily Inquirer, gusto namin always good news. Pero syempre nga, merong uncertainties and ambiguity. So, parang ang ginagawa namin, or ako ang ginagawa ko, I choose kung ano yung ipepresent, especially in public fora, ayan, to ensure scientific data are understood and trusted. So, yun nga po, uncertainty, are you willing to present it? Or, sorry, ako ang magtatanong, kapag uncertain ba, nire-release na natin? Diba? So, again, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, you have to weigh it. Like, if it's your study na medyo uncertain, ang pwedeng gawin siguro is to highlight the better results, not the ambiguous or the uncertain thing, because it might create more uncertainty, confusion, and hindi magiging effective yung communication kasi nga yun nga ambiguous and maybe vague pa siya kasi nga may uncertainty pa.
Okay. So,
I answered.
Yes. Question ko lang. Alam ko medyo magkahenerasyon tayong dalawa.
Yes.
Nung time natin, wala tayong social media.
Ay,
so, ang TV natin talaga, manonood tayo Mel and Jay. Pag Sabado-Linggo, manonood tayo ng mga topics about politics, about social issues. Ayan ang natin, mundo natin ngayon. So, ngayon may kapangyarihan ang communication and internet. Bakit sa palagay mo humantong tayo na kung saan mas makapangyarihan ang ating communication, ang social media, mas madami tayong means to communicate, bakit mas lalong nawala ang critical thinking ng ating population? Bakit mas naging mabilis tayong maniwala ngayon sa fake news, fake information?
Because we are humans. We are always prone to go with what is pleasing or what is controversial. Diba? Right now, okay, yung medyo usong-usong topic ngayon, yung mga bahaan. Dahil ang daming baha ngayon, daming baha sa Pilipinas, konting ulan lang, abot hanggang baywang baha sa kung saan-saan areas. I was shocked the other day na nakita ko ang Alabang Town Center was flooded.
Yes.
Diba? There was may recorded na flash flood sa sa Texas at sa New Mexico, which is very surprising dahil hindi naman nangyayari to in the previous years. So maraming nagsasabi, again, sinight ko to kanina, dahil ito sa climate change. It could be. Pero, syempre, ando din yung human practices. Diba? So, dito sa conversation na to, mahirap ipasok yung science, diba? Kasi people would always look at the human factors and human value nung conversation. Kung may isang scientist ba na tatayo sa social media at magsasabi, these are the causes of the floods, di ba? Not a lot of people would pay attention kasi nga science eh.
Exactly. Ayan din ang actually yung rason kung bakit ang daming lugar ngayong baha, kasi ang mga solusyon na binibigyan ng LGU, ng mayor natin, ng barangay natin, hindi man nakabase sa science.
Yes.
One thing, kung mapapansin mo, Cleb, ang ating mga kalye, bakit ang daming baha? Yung bahay dati nakapantay ng kalye, ngayon kalahati na ng kalye bahay. So magkapantay na. So natural, kapag bumahaya, yung tubig pupunta na sa mga kabahayan. Hindi na tatagos ang tubig sa kalye kasi ang taas-taasan ng kalye. Kita mo yan sa LB, yung ating mga kalye dyan, natabunan na ng napakadaming asfalto.
Yes.
Patasan ng paataas. So, baha talaga.
It's also in our nature then na, yun nga, we are influenced by people or, paano ba to? People or groups or organizations that are more personal to us. Diba? So, instead of believing in science, minsan mas naniniwala tayo sa sinabi ng katabi natin or kapitbahay natin or ng kamag-anak natin. Kasi mas kilala natin sila, di ba?
Exactly.
So, ito talaga ay na-find out sa mga studies before na we are really bound to believe those we know. Kahit pa sabihin na itong taong to ay Nobel Prize winner, or nag-aral sa kung ilang institutions abroad or gumraduate ng ganitong degree, minsan kung di natin kilala, hindi talaga maniniwala sa kanya. So most of the yung misconceptions sometimes are born out of our nature. Mas marami sa atin gustong maniwala sa social media na makikita, like isi-share ko. Nanay ko gustong-gustong manood ng mga reels na ang dami-daming mali. So, pinagsasabihan ko siya kasi she's diabetic, kagaya ko. So, ang dami niyang nakikita na sinasabi daw nito, pwedeng ganitong gawin para bumaba ang blood sugar. Sabi ko, ma, hindi. Kailangan yung gamot na binibigay ng doktor mo, yun ang inumin mo kasi yun ang tama sa'yo. Pero hindi pa rin, ang dami-dami pa rin niyang pinapaniwalaan na dapat daw gano'n at sa susunod daw na check-up niya, sasabihin niya sa doktor niya. Pero yun nga, kasi nga, it's innate sa atin na maniniwala tayo sa ganon. Siyempre, meron naman sa atin. There's a part of the population naman na hindi ganon, mas accepting sa science-based. Remember, napakatagal sa buhay natin na nakikita natin gabi-gabi habang nanonood ng TV na ang commercial ng Safeguard ay Pamet Doctor ang nag-endorse. Na-miss ko yun. Di ba? So, it also reflects yung mataas yung trust niya sa scientists. Pero ngayon nga, may kaaway tayo, which is social media, na ang lakas ng hatak sa maraming tao. Hindi lang sa kagaya natin na medyo advanced na sa age, lalo sa mga bata. Diba? Which is very dangerous.
Okay. Now for our last question. Unfortunately, kailangan po nating matapos na maaga for today. Let's go with Sir Ike. Sir Ike.
Yeah, last na ba? Miss Clement.
Opo.
Dati kasi yung korporasyon o yung NGO o government agency, pag gumagawa ng media production, ina-outsource sa agency. Advertising agency, PR agency.
Okay.
Anong advice mo ngayon? Kasi libre na yung social media, pero may cost pa rin yung media production. Ngayon, yung maliliit na government agency, marami dyan, pati NGO, halos walang pera sa media production. So in-house, nagsasarili. What do you think? What should be done?
Yun nga po, yun naman po ang kagandahan na nagkaroon ng social media at ng internet. Di ba po? Kasi pag may nangyari ngayon, lalo pa hapon na, sa makalawa pa natin makikita sa newspaper kasi lagpas na sa deadline. So ngayon, instantaneous pag nangyari, di ba? Andyan na kagad sa social media. Pero yung tanong nyo po, ayun nga po, yung in-house po, okay yon kasi sa inyo talaga nanggagaling. Kumbaga, very organic. And that gives your material a very high level of credibility. Pero yun nga pong pag-outsource, it's still very common. Marami tayong social media influencers na ang ibang organizations, ganun po ang ginagawa. Kung walang influencer sa group nila, they will hire influencers. And these influencers, mga ano po sila, one-man team. Alam niyo po yun, sila na po yung magbi-video, sila din po yung gagawa ng script, sila din po yung mag-edit ng videos, sila din po ang magpa-publish. Kung ang tanong niyo po ay kung okay po ba yon na may ano pa, mag-hire pa kayo ng media team, okay lang naman din po yon. Kasi for professional look, syempre, and yung pag-develop ng material, kung wala po talaga kayong staff who can do that, you can outsource it. Pero yun nga po din, sinabi ko, kung kayo din po yung gumagawa nun, it has a very high level of credibility because it came from you. Kayo po yung nag-produce. At marami pong gumagawa talaga niyan. It's halos common na po yan in most organizations ngayon po.
Thank you.
Salamat po, Sir Ike. Pahabol po. Meron po gusto sabihin si Sir Ted. Yes, Sir Ted? Sir, naka-mute po kayo. Sir Ted, naka-mute po kayo, sir. Ayan, nawala si Sir Ted. Sir, naka-mute pa rin po kayo, sir? Hindi ko ma-unmute si sir. Okay. Sir Ted, hindi ko po kayo ma-unmute. Paki-unmute po, pakipindot po tayo ng mute button.
Mute. Okay.
Ayan po.
Ayan, okay na ba?
Opo.
Yeah, nakikinig ako sa talk ng ating resource person and yeah, ang science communication, yung pagkaintindi ko, para siyang spokesperson ng mga scientists. Okay? So, in physical terms, kasi parang yung second law of thermodynamics, pag ikaw ay nag-move from one energy to another form, merong nalulose na energy, something like that. So from basic source ng information, tapos i-communicate mo, meron ding nalulose na ibang information. Parang ganon. Okay? Hindi magkakaroon ng 100% or exact translation. There is no such thing as 100% efficiency, so to speak, even in machines, that is thermodynamics 1, mga ganon. So I would liken that communication. Mga ano ngayon natin, meron silang mga communicator like si President Marcos, meron siyang ano, yung sa Congress, meron din sila yung mga ano. So yun ang dilemma siguro na hindi na-discuss ng sa ano natin, resource person, okay? O the other end, sinasabi naman niya, talagang yung mga scientists mas pinaniniwalaan sila kasi nga silang originator, etc. On the other hand, there are two scientists din naman. Meron silang sinasabi at meron din silang hindi sinasabi. Merong positive at merong negative. Parang kuryente yan eh. Okay? So siguro yun ang isang and then yung sinabi niya kanina, paano yung miscommunication? Alin ba ang totoo doon? Sinong magja-judge doon? Diba? And then indirectly, ina-accuse na yung social media, maraming fake news, maraming ganun. Para sa akin kasi, yung fake talagang fake, yung true talagang true. Marami kasi nagda-dichotomize lahat eh. So yung mga gano'n. Yung mga nasasaktan, siyempre, merong chance sila na, siyempre, i-defend yung sarili niya. Kagaya ng aking anak, na deepfake siya dun sa kanyang isang pronouncement, so on and so forth. So, yun siguro ang dapat din nating maintindihan na mga science communicators, meron din silang limitasyon. Dapat i-admit nila yon, okay? To begin with. Like for instance, kunyari, sabi nila yung golden rice, maganda. Pero nung tingnan natin, ako as an agronomist, yung palang beta-carotene synthesis requires 10 to 15 gram glucose equivalent to synthesize 1 gram of beta-carotene. Whereas, yung carbohydrate would only require 1.12 gram glucose equivalent. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Ang yield ng golden rice hindi masyadong tataas. Okay? So, kung ang quest natin, ipataas ang yield, the way to go is not golden rice. Okay? Lalo na, ang mga hybrid seed company, hindi sila papayag na i-incorporate yung beta-carotene gene kasi nga, magre-reduce ang yield ng, hindi ma-express yung heterosis because of that biochemical reaction. So, mga science communicator, definitely, hindi nila alam na search yung mga ganong information. So, ang sasabihin nila, lalo na kung ikaw ay nagtatrabaho sa ISA, everything positive for the biotech product. Yung mga ganon. So, anyway, yun lang ang comment ko. Okay. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Sir Ted. And most definitely, Clem will take note of those things. And alam ko naman po na alam din po ni Clem na they really have certain limitations and they are working on it. Yes, Clem, you want to say something?
Yung science communication kasi, it's not like my speaker ang scientists. Kasi kami na mga communicators, we encourage the scientists kasi they are the best source of scientific information. We do not claim to be the best source of science information. But ayun nga, maraming scientists ang hindi na makapag-SciComm dahil marami naman silang ginagawa na pertaining to research, nagmamanage pa rin sila ng resources, di ba? Scientists, alam natin yan, maraming scientists na administrator din. So, kami naman ay promoting science lang in our work.
That's right. So, Clem, kumbaga kayo yung nagbi-bridge ng kung ano ang dapat iparating na gustong iparating na ating mga scientists.
Yes. And we always try to be research-based yung aming nire-release
of course. Of course.
Research results pala. From research. Thank you.
So maraming salamat po sa ating lahat at sa ating mga tagapakinig. Gusto ko pa po, ang dami ko pa pong listahan ito ng tanong. Kaso talaga pong ang ating oras ay limitado. Pero ang ating topic po ngayon na binigay po ni Clem ay isa na papanon na topic lalo na sa panahon na nilulunod ng fake information ang science-based na knowledge or kaalaman. So tandaan po natin ang siyensya ay solusyon. Ito po ay dapat mai-relate at maibigay po sa baba at ito ay mai-relay ng tama at maayos sa mga talagang dapat makinabang nito. Ayun po ay ako, ikaw, ang aking kapatid, ang iyong magulang, ang buong komunidad. At dito po papasok ang role ng effective science communicator tulad po ni Clem sa tulong po na kanyang samahan, kanyang organization. At tayo po bilang individual, tayo po ay magmasid at maging matalino at maging kritikal sa paggawa ng desisyon at dapat ito po ay nakabase sa siyensya. So muli, maraming salamat sa pagsama sa amin ngayong hapon at makita-kita po tayo uli next week, same place, same time and same channel. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Jane? Okay. Again, I guess that's all. Medyo nagkaroon ata ng problem ang ating kasamahan sa ating video. Anyway, you all have a great weekend.